Hello guys, I'm finally showing you how to make a vegan burrito. Stay tuned.
Alright, hello guys. Now I am showing you this bag of soya chunks. I guess that's probably how you say it in Hindu or something. I got this bag at an Indian store, 400 grams, so you can see it's a pretty good sized bag, $1.99. And these soya chunks go a long way. Now what I'm doing today is making vegan chicken tacos from scratch. Sorry, not tacos, burritos, because that's what my daughter loves most of all. So this is what I use. There are other forms of dried soya. I also have some that's more flat, but you can use whatever you like. You can even use the ones that look like ground beef if you want to make it a more of a minced meat ground beef kind of burrito. But I'm making this more of a chicken texture, so I'm using the chunks. And I have my pan on the stove here. Now this is just a medium pan, and I'm going to basically boil them and also then saute them in the same pan. I could use a bigger pan, but it's just for me and my daughter, so I'm not going to make an excessive amount. But let me get started, guys. Okay, so today I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of the soya chunks. It goes a long way. Now you can always double or triple this recipe if you're making for more people, but for me and my daughter, this will be enough even for a couple days really. And basically, as you can see, the water is totally boiling. I'm going to turn it down to about medium heat now that I've got this in and it's boiling. And because I'm making chicken burritos, I want this to taste like chicken. So I have my vegan chicken stock. Now I just happened to get this at a bulk store. This is the non-chicken chicken stock. And I put some in here, and I have a tablespoon. I don't actually want to use a full tablespoon. I'm going to use half a tablespoon, guys. Or I'll start off with half a tablespoon. Well, you know what? I'm going to use a full tablespoon. Now this is a little bit salty, but it's basically flavoring the water as this is boiling. So there we go. You're going to put a tablespoon of chicken stock, vegan chicken stock. You're also going to put, depends what you like. Now this is the kind of thing where you can add the ingredients, as per your taste, but I'm not going to quite, this is a half tablespoon measurement. So this is probably about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Yeah, I could just measure it out. But what I'm trying to point out to you is it doesn't have to be exact. Now, I also have, if you've got Chipotle, if you've got habanero, you can add that. I have a hot pepper sauce here that I usually put in there, but I also picked up the Old El Paso hot and spicy taco seasoning. Now I'm going to be kind of layering the flavors in here, if you will, so I'm going to go ahead and add half a tablespoon, or just about. Okay, you know what, let's call this more of a teaspoon for now. Okay, let's not. Half a tablespoon of this, hot and spicy, and I'm going to let this soak. I'm going to boil this probably about 20 minutes, and then it will be soft. And here, let me get a fork. It's going to be soft, and the pieces will be very meaty-like. And because I'm boiling it in this chicken stock, and the spiciness and the garlic, you're going to have those flavors infused. Like, take a look at this big piece here. It's already dehydrated, but it looks like a giant chunk of meat. Rehydrated, sorry. So if you can cook it for as little as 5 minutes if you're in a hurry, because you can see it is a bit soft, but I find that cooking it for just a little bit longer will make it even softer. And one of the things you might want to add to this now is some onion, if you like to have onion in your flavoring. I have onion, I have fresh onion, I have onion chunks, dried onion, and I might put a little bit of dried onion in there. In fact, I will. I'm trying to think if I've missed any, oh, I know what I've missed. But I always add it afterward anyway. So guys, I'm just going to put a 1/4 teaspoon, I think, here of onion. My daughter doesn't like too much onion. Okay, let's make it 1/2 teaspoon. My daughter doesn't like a lot, but when it's boiled down like this, it's so soft, she's not going to really be able to notice it. And I think that... Okay, so this might not be quite 20 minutes. Maybe more like 10, but the water has evaporated out and it's perfectly fine. You know, it doesn't need to be any softer than this. So, you know, you're going to judge it for yourself, but probably a good 10 minutes. As long as you start off with boiling water, will be fine. You can taste it at this point, see how you like it, but you're going to add other things to it. Very tasty. Now, I would typically add chili powder, but because I put the taco seasoning, which is spicy, I'm not going to put the... I might put a little chili powder, but maybe not today. Again, play around with the flavors you like. If you want it more spicy, add more spice to it. If you don't add it. There's no need for it to be excessively spicy. Now, to make this easy and keep it all in one pot, I'm going to do something here, guys. Now, you know when you have burritos, the meat is kind of shredded in pieces. So, let me, now I normally would wait for this to cool, but I'm going to just take my fork and I'm going to take my scissors here, my kitchen scissors, and I'm going to just cut the pieces. Cut them at least in half, depending on the size. Like this bigger piece here, you can cut into 3 pieces. But cut them into morsel sizes that you can more easily splay out on your burrito. Now here's a tip I learned for taking your soy chunks and making them into more of a pulled chicken, pulled pork consistency for burritos and tacos. And you're just going to take it and put in your blender. Now I have my Blendtec twister jar. I have a small amount. And I'm just putting it in here. You're going to just pulse until you have it the consistency you like. You can do it in batches if you want. Because this is soft, you can do it in any blender. It doesn't have to be a high-powered blender. Just putting that in there, and then you're going to just pulse. Oops. And as you can see, it's already chopping up, and you can get it the consistency you like. This isn't looking too bad. I could probably do 1 or 2 more pulses. And there you go. See, like a pulled pork, pulled chicken consistency for taquitos, burritos, tacos. And then you're just going to, I'm going to put this on my stove and season it as I would normally and get it ready for burritos. Okay, so once your pieces are cut, put your stove back on, and I'm just going to show you guys. I just want you to see just how it's hot, but you can pretty much see how meat-like this looks. Like it pulls apart like meat. It's very chewy like meat. So in terms of mouthfeel, it's very satisfying. Okay, now this is a point where you're going to saute it. At this point, you can add anything else you like to this. You can add onions, green peppers. You can use the same recipe to make like a fajita. I'm just putting a little bit of oil in the pan. That was probably like a teaspoon. Just for help sauteing. Or you can add more water if you want. Because essentially what I'm going to do now is add my other flavoring. And in fact, I probably will add a little bit of water. I've got this burrito mix. I'm just using the Old El Paso burrito mix. I've used it like quite a bit. If I didn't mention it already, I have become somewhat of an expert at making burritos ever since Cinco de Mayo. Because Cinco de Mayo, I said to my daughter, hey, let's go try some burritos at like a real authentic burrito place. She'd never had one before. She fell in love. And when I say that quite literally every day of the summer and up until now she's wanted burritos, I mean every day of the summer and up till now she's wanted burritos. So with very rare exception, she's had burritos every day. They're expensive to buy, so I had to become an expert at making them. Now I didn't measure out how much that seasoning was. And instead of oil, I'm putting just a little bit more water because it depends on the seasoning you use. I find that this particular Old El Paso one works better if you have a little bit of water to help dissipate it. Others go on a little bit more like a powder, and if you know what I mean. So you can always add a bit more water. The only thing that's going to happen is your vegan meat will be a little more tender. So I'm really, guys, this is probably, what did I put on? Probably before was a teaspoon. Maybe that's half a tablespoon now. I'm sorry that those measurements are not great, but what you're going to do is you're going to put it on and you're going to taste it. And if you like it, good. If you need more, add a bit more. Don't be afraid to sprinkle it on. And I can tell by the kind of color of this, that sort of orangey coating on there, that this is going to be good. Now the real trick here to make these taste even better, which I discovered, is Chipotle sauce. This Chipotle hot sauce, which is not too hot. I'm going to sprinkle on, you count the dabs. That's probably like a teaspoon. Now again, because my daughter does not like green peppers and all that other stuff, I'm not going to add that to this. And basically there you go. You just heat this up. It's a little bit, the consistency is a little bit soft, kind of juicy, and you're done. Now I didn't add salt because the chicken stock is very salty already to start. And I'm just going to taste it. Delicious. That Chipotle hot sauce makes the difference. Okay guys, I'll be back. Alright guys, next I'm just going to make some guacamole. Really simply, my daughter loves it this way. I did buy a guacamole package, but of course my daughter and her palate was like, this just doesn't taste as good as the homemade kind. So I'm taking an avocado here and I'm sectioning out about a quarter of it. Perfect avocado, look at that. And then it's her job, because it's not a hard job at all. I cut this part off for her. I'll cut out that little stem part. Oops. And basically I'll add a little bit of garlic powder on the plate. You can add it now or you can add it later. And sorry guys, that's probably like a quarter teaspoon. Now I have my zesty herbamare, so it gives a little bit of spice. I'm just going to put a couple, I don't know, that's what, negligible, that's like a dash, eighth of a teaspoon. And I have green onion that I'm growing in my windowsill that I just replanted from onions that I bought at the store. So it's constantly growing. And I will just cut off a portion of this and add to this. And then my daughter will mash this all together. That's her job. She can do that. And then I get on with the rest of the burrito making. So simple. You can use any kind of guacamole you want. You can use your prepackaged guacamole, whatever you like, but we prefer this. Okay, I'll be back.
Because if it is on mine, I'm going.
That's easy. Just squish it up like that. Great way to get your kids involved. Alright, so once your veggie meat is ready, what you want to do is get the rest of your items together. And while that's cooking, that's something you can be doing. So you can be dicing tomatoes, as I've done here. I already made rice that I have in the fridge, so I'm going to warm this up. I had some canned beans, the remnants of that was in the fridge as well from yesterday's burritos. I'm gonna warm that up. And I have a tortilla shell right here. And I've got my plate. Now, when you go to burrito places, you notice that they steam the tortillas or press them to make them hot and more pliable. So you can put your tortilla shell on a plate and wet a paper towel, cover the tortilla with it, and once you've covered that, put it in the microwave for like 20 seconds and that will steam it. That's one way. Now, I've discovered another way that's foolproof, and that's to use the same plastic bag. Once you've gotten rid of the burritos out of, the tortillas out of one, keep one around, put the tortilla shell inside the bag, put it in the microwave for 20 seconds, and that will make it nice and soft and steamed. I don't know if there's an issue with the plastic doing that, but it's how I do it, and it makes it easy, and as opposed to having to wet the paper towel, do all that, just makes the steps a little more simplified. And in the meantime, also start your grill. I'm going to show you which one I have. Now, I have a George Foreman mean fat grilling machine, and it's pretty much all purpose. You can make it for like paninis, burgers on here if you want. And since my daughter has come to fall in love with burritos, this has been my burrito maker. So basically I'm gonna put the burrito in here and get it nice and hot. But before that, I've got to assemble it. So here, I'm gonna do that. All right, so I have my burritos steamed. You just take it out of the bag. Place it on your plate. And I did forget to mention two other ingredients I add to this, and that is sour cream. Now, this is my homemade sour cream from Soft Tofu. I really like this better than so far the packaged vegan sour creams. This just hits the spot, and it tastes better. It just does. And also more chipotle, which of course, as I said, my daughter loves. So what I start with is I take a little bit of the sour cream and you could also at this point use fried beans, which I have done. I don't have any right now. So I smear a little bit of the sour cream on there. Put some dabs of the chipotle. Again, this is to your taste. Now, I warmed up my rice and beans because they were in the fridge, but if you've just cooked yours, you don't have to do that. Or this is canned beans, but I the other day made pinto beans from dried beans. As long as it's to room temperature or warm enough for you, you don't have to heat it up. But if it's not, put it in the microwave for a little bit. And it's hard to tell. This is probably like 2 tablespoons of beans, maybe 3 tablespoons of rice. It's going to be based on the size of your burrito, and you're going to have to eyeball it. Because essentially you kind of want to cover, I would say, 3/4 of the middle of the burrito with your toppings. So I've got the rice there. Now I'm scooping over the beans. And now is when you will add your meat. In this case, I have the soy meat. I'll probably fix that up with my hands. So, I'm just gonna strategically place that on there, again, keeping everything centered. And now that you have that on, you top with your tomatoes as much as you like. I don't have any cilantro. My daughter doesn't like it, but I normally love it. I just don't have any today, so that's my disappointment. I love cilantro. Do you love cilantro or do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. So put your tomatoes on here. This is at this point where I like to add a bit more of the sour cream. Just drop it on as much as you like. And on top of that, more chipotle. You can add spicier pepper if you want. Again, this is to your taste at this point. And now take some lettuce. Oops. That piece isn't so good. Okay. So I washed some lettuce and just breaking it into smaller pieces and just topping the burrito, just like this. Now, this is the way they do it at all the burrito places. They add the guacamole last. And they basically take the guacamole, put it at the edge of the burrito, and they smear it on. My daughter loves guacamole. Okay, so it's smeared like that. Now comes the tricky part, and this might intimidate you. It did intimidate me originally, and I've seen two ways that people do it. Some people will take the whole burrito, fold it over completely, and squish it together. But the way I like to do it is I take both sides like this, sort of scoop it like that, press it down, and as I press it down, I use my fingers to press down the middle part, fold it over, and as that's folded over, now you quickly push the edges under here, and then roll. So your burrito looks like this. Okay, so now that your burrito is rolled and secured, and that's why you don't want to overstuff it because you might not be able to fold it up too well, but you just put it in whatever heat press you're going to put it in and let it cook for a few minutes until it's browned. You'll know. So it's obviously not burnt. And I'll be back in a moment, guys. Okay, so I've had this on here probably 1.5 to 2 minutes. You're just going to eyeball it. So this part looks nice and brown, and I always turn it over. I always find the other side is lighter. I just turn it over, and you see it's nice and sealed. And I let it go for like another minute or so. And, Chloe, how do you like these burritos?
Too much.
Yeah, I've been like, I should open up a burrito shop because
Maybe you should open that up.
I've had, that's probably a little bit of the juices flowing out. Does that look good for you?
Yes.
Basically, you know, as long as it's sealed like that and it's warm and it's nice and hot, you can eat it. So you want that on a plate now, Chloe?
Yes.
Okay, grab the plate. Now, I'm not going to do a taste test for you right now because this burrito's for my daughter, but trust me, she's had me make these for her daily, and she loves them, and they're really tasty and delicious, and that's what it looks like. There is your vegan burrito made with soy meat. How do you like that chicken soy meat?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You like it though, right? I mean, you like...
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, you can also use the ground, like the TVP pieces, but you wouldn't boil it the way I did. You'd still dehydrate it and season it how you like, and put it on there. But there you go. Veggie burrito. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching.
And this is delicious, guys. My daughter loves these burritos. I have to make them at least a few times a week. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you like them.